My pregnant wife might have had an affair. Would I be the a-hole if I got a DNA test? So throwaway 151702 says, my wife, 38 female, and I, 39 male, have been together for 12 years. I don't know how to describe it other than calling it the perfect relationship. Given the title, it sounds like maybe it's not.
You should rethink that real quick.
Maybe there's another way we can describe it. I think in 12 years, we've only ever gotten to the point of really raising our voices at one another maybe 2 or 3 times.
Aww.
That's pretty good.
Cute.
We do everything together, but always have never had issues allowing each other to lead our own lives and follow our own interests.
Huh.
That's a double negative there. Or
so they have or have not?
I did not.
Yeah. I guess it's not a double negative, but sounds weird. We bought a house where we wanted. We both have good high-paying jobs that have great work-life balance. Basically, it's been everything short of perfect.
But
until it wasn't.
But we're on Reddit right now, so
we've been trying for 2 years to get pregnant, and it hadn't been happening. We were just about to start the fertility stuff when I came home from work trip, and guess what?
What?
She's pregnant.
Yeah! Woo!
Put an
Let's go!
ICU in the comments if you know where this is going.
Wait, what? But she's that's what they wanted. How long was he gone on this trip for?
Be careful what you wish for.
How long has he been gone on this trip? How
I don't
long
know.
ago?
We need to know about this timeline. I had this weird instant thought of, wait, I thought we didn't try during the week last month because of the fertility testing.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
But I couldn't remember exactly because, to be honest, we were busy at it. So I just assumed I misremembered. Now, I travel around the country pretty regularly for work. Other than COVID, I've been on the road as much as 40 weeks a year sometimes. Since COVID, it's been less, but still more than a week a month. Wait, 40 weeks a year. Okay, so OP is gone more often than not.
What? How does that work?
There's something's fishy here.
Uh-oh.
Over
Stinky.
the last 4 to 5 years, my wife has gotten very friendly with a guy she works with. Let's call him Matt. Matt's slightly younger. I think 34 male or so. I know him. He's married. I know his wife. They've worked together for, I think, 7 years or so. He's always been around. Him and I have been friendly. Have I ever thought something was happening? No. But I've always thought you'd be a fool to not think there's even a 1% chance your spouse would go outside the relationship. That sounds super healthy. Maybe I'm naive, but I always seen it as a safeguard to not take my wife or any other partner in the past for granted. She's never given me a reason to think she'd do that, but anything is possible.
Yeah.
So about a month ago, I'm out of state for work and she's at home. I ask her what she's doing earlier that day, and she says, Matt's coming by for dinner.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's fishy.
Pretty sus.
Not out of the ordinary. Matt comes by from time to time. Is this a regular thing? Sometimes with his wife, sometimes without, sometimes when I'm not there.
Wife.
I don't think much of it. Okay, he trusts his wife. He trusts his wife. That's a quality we like to see in a man. We have a security system which includes cameras both inside and outside of the house, which we installed after an unrelated incident a few years ago. They record and are live, accessible by both her and I. I often use those cameras to check on the dog when I or both of us are away, as the rest of the system is monitored by a company in case of an alarm going off. I think I know where this is going. Right now, we've got Matt and OP's wife.
Yeah.
Spend some alone time together.
Uh-oh.
And they've got cameras.
They've got cameras.
They've got cameras that OP has access to.
Okay.
I think we have another ICU. Put an ICU 2 electric boogaloo, as they say in the comments. Let me get back to it. She knows I check those cameras. There's a system installed where I can talk through them. I'll mess with my wife and she will with me on them if either of us are out of town. She travels for work as well, but far less than I do. Point is, it's known that I check them often when I'm not at home. So I turn on the camera and I see my 4 months pregnant wife lying on the floor on her side with Matt sitting, straddling her legs and using a foam roller to massage her hips.
Okay. Massaging.
Okay, maybe he's just a masseuse.
In his free time.
Maybe he's just an amateur masseuse. We don't need to jump to any conclusions.
Yeah, no jumping.
No jumping. Let's take this one step at a time. So I'm like, okay, what the F is this? I start rewinding through the footage and they're eating and talking normally, but then they get on the couch and get under the same blanket.
Uh-oh.
Now, they are feet to feet, but that couch isn't that big. Then they move to the floor and that's where I logged in. Anyways, I text her. I'm still watching the cameras. They both look like deers in headlights. Oh my God. And he very quickly leaves. Okay, so OP texts his wife when he sees this going on and they immediately like break apart. We get into an argument. She isn't mad at me accusing her, but she's adamant that nothing has or ever would happen and that what I saw was innocent. And she was complaining about being in pain from the pregnancy, which I know is true. She's already having some issues with back pain, etc. The biggest point of that discussion was I asked, if I were there, would you two have been comfortable doing any of that in front of me? And she reluctantly admitted, no, probably not. I told her I didn't want to talk after that, and we'd talk when I got home 3 days later. There are a lot of red flags in the chat.
Yeah.
I don't think it was innocent.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if there was necessarily any other hijinks going on, but I think at the very least they have some sort of emotional affair because the OP is gone so long, like often.
Oh, yeah. Buddy's on the bench and
Yeah.
she's calling him off the bench a lot.
Yeah, he knows that they hang out alone often. That's when it hit me. What if my weird gut moment feeling about her telling me she was finally pregnant was this? What if my 1% happened and this is not my child we're having? Now it eats away at me while I'm at a hotel alone 1,000 miles away for 3 days.
Oh.
That's tough. I reconcile with myself that I think it's less likely than more likely that something between them has happened. But basically, my 1% just jumped to 10%, 20% maybe. I get home and she's on eggshells and doesn't mention it. I kind of wait to see what she's going to do. 2 days later, she finally brings it up and breaks down.
Uh-oh. She
breaks
brings it
down.
up?
She brings it up. Because he's just like silent. He's waiting for her to make the first move, see where she takes it, make her sweat a little bit.
Make her sweat.
It swears nothing has happened. She would never, doesn't do anything over the top to try and prove anything, which I took as a good sign. But anyway, we talk out the issue and everything to a point of at least moving forward for now. I'm still coping and dealing with it, figuring out how to retrust after all this time. I'm getting more and more understanding of the fact that they are friends. They've been friends for so long. Maybe he has intentions, but I don't see her having any, and I've never really picked up on it. And I've spent time around both of them together many, many times and never caught anything. So the thing that is destroying me right now is if I'm wrong and something did happen, well, I can figure out how to deal with that. What if that child isn't mine?
Ooh.
In the argument and a few long conversations we've had about the situation, since I've never brought that up, and she's not mentioned it, mostly because I don't want to make the situation worse and crush her if in fact she's telling the truth, which I mostly believe. The only thing I can think to do at this point is to wait until the baby is born and immediately order a paternity test in secret. Should I do that? Should I tell her and have it dealt with now? If you're a woman in her shoes and you're telling the truth, would that destroy you or your view of me? If you're lying, what would you do if I asked? I don't want to ask a super vague question, but what do I do? And there is an update.
Yikes. I was
It's tricky.
I'd probably would want to know now.
Yeah, he's just going to keep resenting.
Yeah.
Probably his wife and maybe the child at some point.
Yeah.
I think it will definitely damage their marriage.
Oh yeah.
Because,
it's
I
already
mean,
damaged it right now.
That's true. It's their marriage is already on the rocks, and going as far to say I do not even think that this child is ours. It's gonna be rough, but I think I don't know. I feel like he's gonna go crazy.
Yeah, and he works on the road a lot too, right?
But let's get into this update and see what he does. She was out of state on a business trip until late last night. It's Friday, so she worked from home in our kitchen. So I asked to talk and brought it up and asked for a test. She immediately said yes and said there's zero doubt and nothing that she'd even have a second to worry about. But she has no problem doing it now. Okay, so she understands why, why he's having some misgivings and she's okay with it. Okay.
Wow. So
wow.
If someone that has cheated is okay with it, what does that mean? What? I'm kind of confused because usually if you've cheated,
we don't know that she's cheated.
Yeah.
Feels like maybe she hasn't cheated.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think that maybe, I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory so far as what I think is going to happen, but okay. I think maybe the wife didn't cheat, but she did get very close to it.
Okay.
Like she was behaving in a way that was inappropriate with this guy, Matt.
Yeah.
And I think when her husband called her out on it, she realized that. She was like, whoa, that was not okay. And then when he came forward and he was like, now I'm thinking about cheating. And now I'm thinking about maybe this kid mine. And she's like, you know what? I totally get it. I behaved in a very inappropriate manner with someone else. And I understand why you're having second thoughts. And if this is what it takes for you to know that I didn't do anything, then I understand.
Okay, yeah. Because that's what I was thinking. Because if someone's cheating, they wouldn't do a DNA test.
Yeah, they would be probably more, pushed back on it.
Hesitant.
The only caveat I left it with is if it's invasive at all per our doctors, then I'm okay waiting until it's low risk. I'm not a doctor, no clue what they'd have to do it now. So not sure when we're doing it, but she's aware and we're getting one. It was a decent and long conversation. We are currently sitting together getting lunch. She's got no clue I did this on Reddit. Hence the new account because she is on here somewhere. Thank you everyone for your help and opinions. A bunch of you made me realize that we are already really open about everything. And if nothing happened, then she wouldn't worry about getting one. I was more worried about her health and adding some insane level of stress. If it was an issue as she's an at-risk pregnancy and it took so long for us to get pregnant. So again, thank you all for the help. I suppose I can update if it's mine or not, but I'm not sure how long that will be. I'm 90 to 95% sure it's mine. But this will help us continue this conversation. And there is another baby update and some relevant comments to finish this off.
Okay, let's get into the update.
Oh, right away.
I want to get into this update before we get to the relevant comments.
Okay.
John, recently I went to a Russian bathhouse.
Right.
And they have these little whips that are made out of branches. So imagine you pulled a couple branches from the side of the road and then started whipping your friends with that, but they're covered in water and stuff. You basically do it in the sauna. It helps release the energy or whatever.
Like getting spanked by a tree, but for health.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, I had just gotten spanked by a tree and I was feeling super hot, a little dizzy, and I jumped into the cold pool at this bathhouse. And as I was jumping, I had flared up a rolled ankle, and now my ankle hurts, and I'm unsure of whether, I don't know, do I need to do exercises? Do I need to do physical therapy? I don't know what to do. But I think there is someone that would tell me what to do.
Who's that, Sam?
ZocDoc.
That's right. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors near you.
And instantly book appointments with them online.
And these docs all have verified reviews from actual real patients.
We're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists.
And you can filter for ones that take your insurance.
And treat basically any condition you're searching for.
The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 and 72 hours.
Sometimes even the same day.
I use ZocDoc. We use ZocDoc. You should too.
Go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today.
That's ZocDoc.com/OKOP, ZocDoc.com/OKOP, and let's get back to the show.
Just because it seems to be more of a topic on this post versus the other one for some reason, yes, I have the footage. No, I haven't talked to Matt yet. He's told her he wants to talk about it, but I've told him to wait on that. My relationship with my wife and the paternity is what's important right now. I will eventually talk with Matt. No, I'm not going to get Matt's wife involved intentionally. I don't know why I would other than to be vindictive. I'm not going to cover for him, obviously, but his relationship is his. And mine is mine. I'm not interested in making this worse. Whatever is going on between him and his wife isn't any of my business. And there are some relevant comments, but I think, yeah, what?
He needs to talk to Matt.
No,
I don't feel like that's.
I don't think he needs to talk to
necessary at
Matt.
all.
Nah, I don't think he needs to talk to Matt. I
Like-
think this is between him and his wife.
Yeah, I think that is true.
And I think I'm leaning towards she hasn't done anything.
Yeah, because she's
Yeah.
okay with having a DNA
Yeah.
test.
I don't think she would be as chill with it if she had done something.
Is this fixable though? Because
I think so. I think she
so?
hasn't gone far enough for it to not be fixable. I think going the route of DNA tests definitely means that they're going to have to go through couples counseling just to
Yeah.
come back from trust issues. But I don't think this is divorce. I think no divorce, but relevant comments. OP when asked why his wife thought she could be intimate with someone else. We've talked about it at length. Nothing is being ignored. I could write you an essay about our past, her reasons, and my feelings on it, but instead, I'll just say I'm aware of it. She's claiming innocence of anything further, but at the same time admitting that it wasn't a good look, but she wasn't thinking about it at that time. And that's what we are currently working through. When told it doesn't look innocent and asked if his wife goes to Matt's house when his wife isn't home, OP responds, she's 4 months, I was home, and we had been on the clock, to the point of the days blending together, trust me. We are pretty open people and pretty comfortable with ourselves and each other. I don't know if she's been to his house without his wife. I mean, the 3 and 4 of us all hang out probably once or twice a month, but they work directly together every day and have for years. So obviously there's a closeness there. They're both upper management in their company. I think this is Matt and his wife that they're talking about. And at my company, I have long-term friends that are women. I've traveled with them, we've done dinner and hung out in hotel rooms together. But I've never done anything because that's not me. I'm married and love my wife and my life. I have no reason not to. Okay, I want to pause for a second because I feel like OP is kind of normally, like when men get DNA tests, I'm like, or like just when people get DNA tests, you know, it's always
it
little
gives
sus.
red pilly
Yeah.
vibes.
Yes, sometimes, not always. In this case, I think he is leaning towards green flag because he's so trusting of his wife. The only time he questioned it 10%, he's still like, there's like a 10% chance is when he's caught her being straddled by another guy.
On videotape.
And still he was like, well, maybe there is an explanation. Like, I think that's a good sign. I think that shows that he does have the open relationship that he claims to have.
That's good.
But do you guys think he's, kind of a green flag, or are you on the side of, nah, this man's a red flag? So OP continues, so I mean, the optics are bad. I just have to decide if it's only the optics or if she has a reason to. Maybe he has a reason too, and that's what I saw. That I'm not sure about. But that comes down to, do I trust her to handle that? She says if that's the case, she's never noticed it. And she hangs out with him and his wife just about as much as he hangs out with us. She works in a building right near them. My company is based out of Chicago and I live on one of the coasts. So my coworker friends are much more spread out. We can't go to the bar to grab after work drinks any day like they can. Honestly, I usually go to their work hangouts more than mine because of that. I'm friendly with her CEO because of it too. Is it perfect? No. But I've always trusted her. I've never had a reason not to. In 15 years, this is the first crack or dent in it. And then OP gives a clear description of what happened that day. OP says, that's not what I saw. She said something. He froze. Said something I couldn't hear. She said, no, don't worry about it. He put something in the dishwasher and she walked him out to the front door. He didn't dive out the window. Okay, this is so when OP texted her saying basically, I've caught you guys, he didn't run out. He just kind of left calmly. You have to remember this is Reddit. I'm not putting every single nuanced detail in this because that would take me hours to write. And I'm not putting my security footage on the internet for strangers to see. Why not? That's crazy. The reason I have the security system in the first place is because of a stranger on the internet. I'm not saying anything beyond that didn't happen for sure between them. I am saying I don't know now, and I don't have any proof. That's what my wife and I are discussing just about every day, and what we're working through. The original point of the post was the only thing we hadn't talked about was paternity, because I don't want to put her in a situation where she medically loses the child, mine or not. Not only have I not been able to put every single nuanced thing in this, I've also sprinkled in false details about our lives. Nothing pertinent to what happened, but other mundane details. I was a very small public figure at one point. Wow. Who were you?
He probably like ran for mayor.
Yeah, he was like, ah! And some lowlife from the internet traveled across the country to make death threats against us because of something warped in his head. To the point where the federal government had to get involved. Wow.
Whoa.
People in here are wildly jumping at conclusions with much less information than I have and ignoring the original point of the post and the original questions asked. To the point of, has he told Matt's wife? Which I think he already brought that up, but OP says, she is my wife's friend's wife. We don't meet up and knit together. I know her through my wife. I see her maybe once every few months at a bar after work, or if they come by for dinner or to hang out. We aren't besties. Again, what should I go tell her? Hey, your husband was at my house. I knew he was there, and I saw him run a foam roller over the outside of my wife's hip while he was sitting on her feet. It's super obvious they're effing, and even though I'm not sure, it's possible she's carrying his baby. This isn't a soap opera. There's nothing I know that I can tell her, so why would she take my word on what tiny evidence there is? And why or how in the world would that help my situation? If all of this is false, now I've destroyed my relationship for acting like a child trying to drum up drama for what obviously looks like being vindictive, and I put them in the same situation we're in now for something that I don't know is true yet. I believe you have entirely lost the plot here. But that is the end of that plot.
Wow.
We don't know, so we're left with questions.
I have so many. The biggest one?
Is he the father?
Oh, yeah. I just want to know what kind of public figure he was.
Oh, yeah. Who is he?
What have you been doing, dude?
Yeah, first question, who are you? Second question, are you the father?
I think we could do a little call-in.
A little call-in?
A little call-in. So someone...
Okay.
Oh, don't worry. You know them.
I know them?
You do know them. I'm going to get it set up, but this person has some exciting news for us. Just wait. I
still haven't, sleep-wise recovered from our Tuesday stream.
Yeah, that one was crazy.
Oh, my God. The day after, I
had to build the cart.
I had to take a nap.
I built the cart this week.
In the middle of the day because I was so tired on Wednesday.
And my brother was in town.
And then Riley broke my gnome, and I just immediately started crying because I was so sleep deprived.
I did apologize.
No, yeah, it's okay.
I'm actually...
No, we can glue it.
I'm getting her another gnome.
Don't give me another gnome.
And it's gonna be
I just want glue. Just give me glue.
I'm getting her
Please
this
don't
gnome.
give me that.
Dude, look how cool it is. It's a dinosaur gnome with a cat on the back.
What
with a
is this?
Crossbow and American flag. Tell me you don't want this. Tell me you don't want that. That is so patriotic.
Okay, but I'm not patriotic.
Should be. What?
I like my gnome. We just need glue.
Your gnome's cool. I was gonna get you that gnome and glue your your old gnome.
That's very sweet. I'll take that gnome. Sure. I'll take the gnome. But let's call this caller. The secret caller.
OKOP show convinced me to ask my new boyfriend out.
Who is this? Who is this?
Hello.
This is Sophia and Riley on OKOP. Riley hasn't told me who this is.
Yes, he wanted to surprise you, of course. It's your guys' favorite person, Sleepless Nights.
Oh my
God!
It's Sleepless! I knew it from your voice.
Oh, good.
It's so nice to hear from you.
Yeah. Tell us
about your news.
So,
wait. Before you start, is this the situationship thing?
Actually, no.
Tell us more.
Say more.
Tell more.
So, I because of the Sunday video that came out, it basically convinced me to ask my new boyfriend out.
Oh,
to be
so
my
wait.
boyfriend.
Who said the magical quote that was like?
yeah,
I have to
what
ask
happened on Sunday?
Who gave you
Well,
this advice?
the quote was basically that guys also want to be asked out, and I was like, okay, say less. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And how did it go? So you asked him out. How did you say it first? And then how did it go?
I originally I was coming up with like, being mean to him because
Classic.
something along the lines of he'll usually say like he's out of my league or something. And I don't believe that. And
Yeah.
so I was
He's
going to
teasing.
use that, but I think very many that are on the OKOP show understand that like once you're in that person's arms, everything just melts away.
Aw.
So I just was like, oh, mid in his arms was just like,
Aw.
why don't you just become my actual boyfriend?
Look
Wait,
at that.
You were in his arms? You were in his arms? He was cradling you and you said,
Yes.
why don't you just be my boyfriend?
Yeah.
Huge.
And then what did he say?
He said yes, of course.
Wow.
Of course.
Yes.
So cute.
Congrats. That's awesome.
That's amazing news.
It's hard to get a boyfriend nowadays or anyone in a relationship.
Yeah.
Agreed, but like he's been around me for almost 2 years now, and it was inevitable. He's the sweetest person, and I think I've lucked in on such the sweetest person in the entire world.
Aw.
This is such great news.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So out of this, he was there during the situationship, watching me second guess myself a lot and stress out about everything.
Okay, so there
And-
was a situation going on not with him. The situation, Joe.
Not with him.
Got you.
No,
and
no.
then he came
Completely
along.
unrelated.
Okay, gotcha.
Understood. Okay.
And I didn't fully pursue him until like I felt that I was getting out of that situationship. He's actually technically the reason why I got out of it. So, but like it was my choice in the first place.
Be like, hey, get rid of him and get with me. That's what he said.
Yeah, he's like, I'm sure there's lots of other guys that would
He
love
did
to
not.
date you.
He said something along the lines of like, you should get out of this for yourself, but like there might be somebody out there for you.
Him! He was playing the long game, or maybe the
No,
short
Slow
game.
burn.
I
depending
mean,
on the
This
slow
is
burn.
a
I would
slow burn
say
situation.
was because he was there. He knew my little sister. He knows my other sister. Like he's been a part of my circle for so long.
Aw.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. This is fantastic news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it continues. I
think
know it
that,
will continue to go well.
Seems that I have a better love chronicle than Sam. So
Sam's working on
That's
this.
that.
Give him a break.
Yeah. He's getting there.
sure.
There's not a high bar.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
No. He's working on it. He's doing well.
Oh man. Sleepless, thank you for calling us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, anytime. But it seems that I'll probably be boring for the rest of the year.
Hey, you don't need to have an usually bad thing. Well, what's that saying? It's like bad decisions make good stories. Sometimes you don't need a good story.
Yeah,
for a
sometimes
while.
you don't need a good story. You can just have a sweet one.
Yeah, just have a sweet one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks for
Sleepless,
calling in.
have a great night.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. I'll be
Right.
back in the live, so.
All right.
deal.
See you
See
in there.
ya.
Bye. What a cute story.
Wow.
What a cute, sweet,
Good for
amazing
her.
story. I love that.
Man,
Yeah.
We love.
We love love. But let's get into this messed up story. Maybe. Am I the a-hole for being cautious about letting my ex back into our daughter's life after 5 years?
Ooh, a lot can
Ooh.
happen to a person in 5 years.
Yeah. Does he still suck? Because if he still sucks, don't let him back in. So, okay, outcome 3739 says, I, 29 female, have a 5-year-old with my ex, 32 male. We were engaged, but never really planned to have kids before marriage, or at least for the next few years. I was on the pill and he used protection sometimes, but I ended up pregnant. Since it was unplanned, termination was on the table. He was more into making it work, so both of us decided to keep the baby. I wasn't emotionally prepared, but for him, love is all it takes to make everything work. Fast forward 6 months, started to change. He would give me the silent treatment if I did anything wrong. He wouldn't engage in any conversation about the baby and would just yell at me if I asked, what's wrong? I was almost 8 months pregnant when he told me he's just not ready to be a father and can't do both things. It's either fatherhood or his career. I was scared to be a single mother, so I told him it's fine, I can take care of our baby and be a stay-at-home mother until things get better for him, but he refused and made it clear everything is over. Wow. What a switch up. Since the house was his, I left and went to live with my mom until I found myself a place. I gave birth to my baby girl and he never came to see her. This guy shucks. His mother and sister were there for me, and to this day, they're still part of my daughter's life. Wow. As for him, he gave up his parental rights and granted me full custody legally, but was willing to contribute financially through child support. He voluntarily provides financial support in an amicable arrangement.
That's good.
I mean, that is
Better
the
than
base,
nothing.
bare minimum. I'm not proud of it, but there are nights I called him just to ask, why did he do that to us? I wasn't even ready, but seeing him happy and excited made me think we could make it work together. That's the thing. She was against it at first, and then he doubled down and was like, no, we can make this work. I love you. Liar. He never answered my calls. We used to communicate through his mother or sister or email. I love my baby and won't ever see her as a mistake. I'm still doing my best to be the best mother she deserves. I have a good paying job now and everything is better than before. Now, here's the thing. After 5 years and when I finally feel my life got better and figured out my stuff, he wants to get involved. No, you don't get to just waltz back in here.
But like, what if he didn't like babies and he's like, I can handle kindergartners
I
and
just
above?
really hate babies. But now that she's got like a developing frontal cortex, I'm on.
I'd be like, okay, if you want to be
Sub
with
me
her,
in, coach.
you get the next 5 years and
Yeah.
then come back when she's 10.
That's so sad. He's been calling and texting me for a week now. He doesn't regret a thing. And he's not asking. He's telling me that he has the right to see his daughter and be there for her. Legally, you gave up your rights, man. Legally, you're gone. You gave her full custody. You don't have any right.
Yeah.
It is up to her and her daughter whether or not they want to see you. How can I trust him not to wake up one day and decide being in her life is a mistake and disappear again? He can do that to me, but I just don't want my daughter to get hurt. I told him he can see her, but not this way. He wants more than just to see her. He even threatened me if I don't agree. Then he has no problem telling her in the future how I'm the reason she grew up without a father.
Nah.
No. If he's threatening you, get him out of your life. For
You
good.
just tell the kid first.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, I want to be a part of your life. I told
Well,
him these were the
She's
circumstances, and no, but like in the future, he's
Oh,
like,
in the future.
I'll tell her how bad of a mother you
5. Yeah,
are.
no, you just say, like, he left us, and then he came back and threatened me.
That's what I was saying.
Sorry, I
Where you're like,
interrupted
no, she's
you.
5.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No,
Sophia
you're
took
right.
the words out of my mouth.
I'm sorry. His mother and even my mother want me to just let him into my daughter's life with no exceptions. And I'm not comfortable doing that because I know him. Would I be the a-hole if I decided on what's best for our daughter or just suck it up and let him in? And there are some comments. But what do we think?
Let him in or nah?
Let him in
I already
or
know
nah?
the poll's gonna say no.
I agree. I think no. I do not think that she should let this man in. I think that he proved who he was when he left, and the fact that he's not apologizing for leaving or how he left or how he treated them is very telling.
Yeah.
Yeah, lock your doors, lock your windows, don't let him in. But let's get into these irrelevant comments.
I mean, okay, if he really wanted to be in her life, he needed to approach this very differently. You can't walk out of someone's life, destroy that trust, and then want to come back thinking that trust is still there. You broke that. You need to take time to let go build it back together.
Yeah, no, you need to, if he was really serious about this, he would have come back and said, hey, I don't know what I was thinking when I left you guys. I have since come to realize that I made an incredibly stupid and wrong decision. And I want to be a part of your lives. I understand that you're going to have to take time to trust me. I don't want to pursue a relationship with you again, but I do want to pursue a relationship with my daughter. And is there any way we could work out a way where I can see her and prove to you that I am someone to trust and someone that is a good person to be around our daughter? Something like that, where he shows that he's sorry and willing to work. You can't just demand this. But let's actually get into these comments now. Necessary Future 275 says he gave up his rights. That literally means he has no rights. What a terrible person he is. I would not trust him. First, he wants a baby. Then when it's too late for a termination, he doesn't, and you have to raise her on your own. Then 5 years later, he demands to be in her life. He's entitled to nothing yet egotistical and selfish enough to still believe what he wants is all that matters. How long before he changes his mind again and breaks your daughter's heart the same way he broke yours? And OP responds, that's what I'm afraid of. I don't want her to go through that. Wolf Dragon 32 says he gave up his rights to her. He can't do anything but just blow smoke up your butt. If he says that he'll tell her why she has no father, counter that with the truth to his face. He was a coward and wanted his career and gave up his rights to be part of her life. He has no say in her life due to his own choices. Tell X to kick rocks and not call you anymore. Tell grandma that if they try to bring your daughter around him, then you will reevaluate their relationship with her as you are her mom. And there is an update 2 days later. No, I would not bring this.
Not now.
Back in. No.
Eventually, after time, if he's on a good track.
And
perhaps.
The daughter wants it. Eventually you could say, hey, if you ever want to pursue a relationship with your father, this is what he's done in the past. But you, that is your decision to make. And I will not bar you from seeing him. But let's get into this update. He didn't stop with the calls and texts, and I read some of the comments wondering why he suddenly wants to be in my daughter's life. So I agreed to meet up with him and discuss everything yesterday. We talked for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes of me trying to explain to him that he literally gave up his parental rights years ago, and there's no need for threatening since he legally has no right to see her if I don't allow him. While he was focused on expressing how I haven't changed and complimenting my body, why are you saying that? His comments became too much, so I decided to just leave. But I noticed he was wearing a ring on his right hand, and didn't hesitate to ask him about it. He said he proposed a few weeks ago, but he thinks he rushed things. I asked him if she knows about my daughter and if this is why he's here. He said no, she still doesn't know. Raging red flags. And he genuinely wants to be part of his daughter's life. He basically spent 30 minutes flirting with no shame, said that he's engaged, showed no sign of being genuinely interested in getting involved. I told him to just forget about my daughter, but if he wants to, we can see a judge and they can laugh at him. He threatened to cut financial support, and I made it clear I never really needed his help. Sending me $1,000 once or twice a year with his sister was already no help, and I can give back his money if he wants to. Yeah, that's nothing. Now, I know what I did wrong, but it was the only way to get the answer I needed. On my way home, I called his sister and lied about how things went. I said that he told me everything and how his fiance encourages him to be a better person, and I think that's why he wants it, which is a good thing. His sister told me everything I needed to know. How his fiance has a good heart, and how she didn't like it when she discovered that he has a daughter but never saw her before. She basically wouldn't have said yes if he didn't promise to try and fix things. So both his mother and sister knew the reason he wanted to get back into my daughter's life, and his mother encouraged me to let him in without even being honest with me. Whoa. Okay.
Write that down.
So what I'm getting at, or what I'm seeing here, is that OP's ex does not actually care about being, having a relationship with his daughter. The only reason that he wants a relationship with his daughter is because his current fiance said, I will only marry you if you work on this relationship with your daughter.
Wow.
So he's selfish. Yeah. Also, yeah, he said that he didn't, like, she didn't know, so he lied.
Yeah, there's a lot of lying going on.
A lot of lying going down. Yeah, do not let this man back in your life. He's extremely selfish.
You're not only going to be helping your daughter, you're going to be helping that poor lady that is engaged to that guy.
Yeah. She'll get rid of him. Yeah, yucky. All of this wasn't about my daughter. It was about him and impressing his fiance, who was horrified that he wants nothing to do with his daughter. My mother gets it now, but his mother called the same day asking what's the plan now. I told her there's no plan. He could have just given me full custody, but he wanted nothing to do with her, to the point he decided to sign away his rights. And he seemed already fine with the relationship they have, which is none. She tried to make me consider letting him in because at the end, it's my daughter's decision. My daughter is 5 years old. What decision? Anyway, I made it clear to her that both her and her daughter legally aren't my child's family, and from now on, there will be no alone time with her. And if they keep pressing me, I can easily cut them off. I think it sounds harsh, but I totally understand it, because the mother might take her to see the father. The way that she's acting now, that's a huge risk. I will discuss this with the lawyer, though. I have everything documented, and I'm sure he doesn't have a leg to stand on. But still, just in case he tries something. And let me show you some of his texts that I'm very tempted to get his fiance's number and send her some screenshots. English isn't our first language, so I translated them for you. These are from OP's ex, who has a fiance. OP's ex says, "Who sees you now would never tell you weren't ready for this. You look happier." Or also, "You know, I really didn't know how much I missed you until I saw you today." And, "Good night, beautiful. Kiss my daughter's name for me." Those are so flirty. Ew.
Yikes, dude. You
Ew.
Can't do that. Can't do that. What if his thoughts were like, "Ooh, I have to flirt with her"?
Yeah, no, he sounds super selfish, and I wouldn't put him past him. I don't know if I'm just overreacting, but if my fiance texts his ex this way, I for sure won't find it acceptable. By the way, with him back, I realized that I never really dealt with the way he broke my heart. Maybe I cried, but I had to figure out my life as soon as I could for the sake of my daughter. When I gave birth, all I started thinking about was my daughter. Even the nights I called him, it was never to ask about me. It was always about us. I was scared and not ready to be a mom. And now that I'm a mother, I never have felt this strong. So sweet. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I'm glad how my life turned out. Thank you for the advice. I'm glad I gathered the courage to see him. I feel so much better. At least now I know I don't have to worry about him shaking my baby's life up.
Yeah,
and there are some comments to finish the story off. But I think we knew before, don't let this man back into her life. But I'm glad that she got, it sucks that she got this information, that he is a horrible person and is only doing it for her own selfish reasons.
Yeah.
But at least she has a reason that she can point to and say, I'm for sure not letting this man around my daughter.
Yeah, you can. That's not healthy influence. You shouldn't, because in a way, I think that as a father, you are going to be the first example of how girls believe they should be treated, and the way that he is treating his ex and his fiance is through lies and manipulation. He does not need to have any influence on that kid at all.
Using his daughter to get what he wants. But let's get into these final comments. Henchwench89 says, "I'm sorry you have to deal with this jerk, OP. So many people in your OG post called it. He's only interested in your daughter because of his new woman. Honestly, block him and go very low contact with his family because they are not looking out for you or your daughter's best interests." OP says, "Thank you. I'm planning to do that, but he's still not done with the threats about telling lies to my daughter." Okay, well, he's gonna have to wait because she's 5 years old. And how are you gonna get contact with her? "I'm trying to gather everything I can before I block him." Henchpunch89 says, "That's fair. Mute him so the messages still accumulate, but you have a break from them." And Actual Offer 127 says, "Yeah, if I was his fiance, I would thank you if you told me about this. He's lying to her with the help of his family. That poor girl is getting blindsided. She thinks he should reconnect with his daughter because she probably has a good heart. I feel bad for her." And that, friends, is the end of that story. I wonder if, because OP talked about how initially when he left, she called him and was like, what did I do? Why would you leave us? And I'm wondering if him coming back after 5 years and showing her exactly what kind of person he is kind of gave her any amount of closure. You know, oh wow, like when you see someone, you're like, wow, that person is such a sucky person. I'm glad I'm, no longer around them. I feel like it can give you clarity. No, in general.
Yeah. But it definitely helps though, right?
It does help. Yeah.
I feel like she knew this before he came back because he was acting weird.
To some extent, but I mean, she said she would call him up and stuff, and so I'm wondering if this gave a little bit more clarity.
Stay away.
Yeah. He's like, wow, he really sucks. Well, if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
And we love you.
And see you tomorrow.